Once you master non-reaction, your goals, your manifestations are going to rapidly come your way. It's no longer going to feel like you're swimming up the stream, forging and forcing your goals to happen, but yet it's going to start to feel like you're flowing down the stream. It's no longer going to feel like you are reacting to life. It's going to start feeling like you are playing with life. You are creating with life itself. Today, guys, I'm going to be teaching you the power of non-reaction and how once you master this, the shift, the goals, the manifestations that you want are going to be flowing your way. Let's dive into the whiteboard. All right, guys. So before we dive in, as always, if you get value from this, if this helps you hit your next level of success, helps you make a breakthrough in your life, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's dive in. So non-reaction. Why is it so important that we come from a place of non-reaction, that we no longer react to our current circumstances? The reason why is because you want change, you want new success, you want a new self concept, which means you need a new identity. The only way to manifest is to also create a new self concept, a new sense of self, which means your new identity. And here's the reason why. This is the actual science behind law of attraction. If you look at neuroscience and how the brain works, so law of attraction, the whole idea behind it is that you attract what it is that you are. Now, in spiritual terms, that means you attract basically the frequency which you were attuned to. So if we look at how your frequency would be set, it would be based off your most dominant emotional state of being. Now, how or what is your most dominant emotional state of being? Your most dominant emotional state of being comes from your state, which means your identity. And the reason why is because your core belief systems that you have about yourself and the world, think of that as the rules for your brain to then follow. Your belief systems, they produce, they give you, they create the thoughts and the emotions that you have. You are not your thoughts, right? You can't predict what thought you're going to have next. So, produces those what produces the thoughts and the emotions that you have, and mind you, a thought held for 7 seconds creates an emotional reaction. The more you think about something, eventually you start to believe it to be true. The brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So your belief systems are producing the thoughts and emotions that you have. Eventually, over time, the more you start to think about something, the more you start to believe it to be true. And especially when you have an emotional reaction, you tie in the body with it too. That then starts to form your sense of self, your identity. Identity is basically who you believe you are. So when thoughts and emotions held over time, neurons that fire together will wire together. So what that means is that the more that you think and feel a certain way about yourself or the world, eventually that starts to become ingrained into who you actually believe you are, your identity. Then what your identity does is it influences how you think, how you feel, how you take action in the world, what you focus on, what you give meaning to. Like all of those things comes from your identity. So identity shapes behaviors, it shapes consistent actions, right? Anybody can go to the gym for 2 weeks for 1 month after the New Year's resolution. But if they don't change their identity, they're going to quickly give up and self-sabotage because they don't have the identity of a fit and healthy person, of somebody who works out yet. So they're going to quickly self-sabotage and fail over and over and over again until they stop trying to do the next best shiny object, right? The next pill, the next diet, whatever it may be, and they start to go within and change the actual belief systems and identity. I built a weight loss coaching company for my first business. I helped over 500 clients, and that was the main things that we focused on was changing the identity itself. So identity creates your consistent actions, which produce results, and that's how the law of attraction works in real time. That's one of the best ways to explain it. If you want new results in your life, right? If you want money in your life, you cannot be walking around as a poor person who hates money, who believes that rich people are evil, because you are literally going to throw away every opportunity to make money. You're going to throw away every thought about how to make more money. You're going to not be able to stay consistent with your actions to make more money. You cannot outrun your identity, not for long. So, your results that you want, you must match that frequency in the now. So if I imagine myself being a millionaire and the state of that is I am rich, I am worthy, and I am abundant, then I don't want to wait to feel those things once I become rich. That's not how it happens. I must feel that way now. I must believe that now. I must literally rewire my brain to step into that state of being now Because once I step into that state of being, then I'm taking aligned actions to get what it is that I actually want. So that's how it works there. So that's what, so I'm going to jump into why we cannot react here though in a second. But that's kind of how the law of attraction works. That's the power of identity. That's why if you truly want new success in your life, if you want to change your life, right, you need a new identity. But when we react, it does not happen. And here's why. Because a huge reason why it does not work for most of us, right? So you might be thinking like, hey, I've been doing the work. I know about the law of attraction. I know this stuff to an extent, and I'm doing the work. I'm acting upon it, but it's still not working out. The money's not here. The success isn't here. I'm still struggling. I still have all these bills to pay. I have all this debt in my life. I am super lonely, whatever it may be. I understand you. I hear you. And here's what happens is that is as long as you keep reacting to those old programs and your external world's results right now, you will keep seeing it and experiencing it over and over and over again. You literally will keep giving it life the more you react to it. And the reason why is because how your brain works as a whole is your animal brain is designed to keep you safe and secure, which means it wants predictability. It wants everything to be the same. So a part of the brain, a part of who you are, there's a couple sections in here. So identity is who you believe you are, right? Your sense of self. Now, underneath identity, though, is ego. Now, a lot of people give ego such a negative meaning, such a negative view on ego, right? When you think of ego, you think of cockiness, like all of that stuff there. It's none of that. What your ego is the protector of your identity. So it can either serve you or not serve you based on your core identity itself. If you believe you're an unworthy person, your ego will support that at all cost because the ego's job is to keep you alive, the identity alive. Okay, the last thing the ego wants is an ego death, which means an identity death. So the ego is going to protect your identity at all costs, who you believe you are. So if you believe you're an amazing person, you will find that in every single scenario. If you believe that you are unworthy, if you believe that the world is evil, your ego will find evidence for that in all scenarios. So the ego goes in and it goes into your past, all your past conditioning, all your past programming, your society, childhood experiences, culture. That usually forms most of us, most of our senses of self. So most people are walking around right now from the conditioning and programming which they had up until the age of 8 or so. And it does change over time, but not a crazy ton. So we have this program that creates this sense of self of who we believe we are now. The ego must see that in the past and say, well, this is what's most familiar, right? I know that if I continue to believe this way, if I continue to act and feel and be this way from my past, I know that I'm going to probably survive in the future because it's what kept me alive in the past. This is my place in society. This is how I'm going to fit in and survive. That's what the ego does. That's what the ego sees. So it's always trying to predict the future. So when you're trying to change your identity and trying to take a new path in life to accomplish more success, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of grit. So think of these yellow lines as grit. And this is basically an identity mismatch. So what happens then is the ego starts to scream and it sees this as a threat and scary. And then you start to have thoughts of like, I'm not on the right path. I'm doing things wrong. I'm way behind. What's the point of doing this? All these people fail. Why I can never succeed. You start to have all these thoughts. Remember, you're not your thoughts, but many of us identify ourselves with our thoughts, which means we react to the thoughts. And the second that you react to those thoughts, you get bought back into the old program, which is going to keep you stuck in the old same way over and over and over again. And that's why many of us fail. You are trying to create a new life, a new self concept. You're trying to manifest new results in your life, new goals, new success. But if you continue to react, you continue to give life to what you don't want, your current circumstances. The more and more you continue to react to it, the more you feed that old program and allow it to stay alive. Think of it like this. So when you look into a mirror, okay, when you look into a mirror, it's not like the mirror is going to smile at you. You must smile first, and then the mirror reacts to it. As within, so without. one of the universal principles that the ancients knew this kind of knowledge here. As within, so without, which basically means the outer world is a reflection of your internal world. And you can explain that through science. Whatever you believe to be true, your brain will literally filter out any information that does not align with it, and it will filter out it will filter in information that does align with it. Once you believe something to be true, you literally have to go find evidence for that in your external world to reconfirm that belief system. Unbelievably powerful. So when you look in a mirror, if you want the mirror to smile, you must smile first. And that's exactly how your life changes. You can't wait for someone to just give you a bag of money or an idea for the business. You can't wait for someone to build that website for you or people to just start to run towards you. You must act, you must do, and over time, the outer world will then reflect it. But it starts with you. Okay. And this is really going to help you understand on why you no longer need to react. Because once you get this down, you will be able to not react to the old system, which means the old system will collapse much faster. The old programs will die off so much faster. So you can truly give life to the new system, the new identity, which is going to fuel the new actions, which is going to give you the new results in your life. So the faster that you get this down, the quicker you're going to get exactly what you want. So, guys, again, make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying this so far. So, you smile, then the mirror reflects it. Okay. So, again, when you change, then the external world will keyword eventually change. It will eventually reflect the changes that you made within yourself. Keyword eventually, because there's always a little bit of lag time, right? You're not going to be, you're not going to get in shape overnight, but once you build the identity and the belief system of that person who is in shape in time, as you continue to show up and enjoy that process, you're going to get in shape. So there's always going to be a little bit of a lag time. And in that lag time is where most people fail because they put their trust bucket into things not working out, more of a mindset of playing it safe and secure and the idea of like, I don't want to fail or embarrass myself. They more so trust in that happening, more so trusting in they're going to make it happen. It's going to be better than ever. And I need to trust in myself, my actions. I need to trust in the way that this works. They don't put their trust in that. You see how I didn't say you don't lack trust, because lacking trust is not a thing. You either trust in one thing or you trust in the other. So trust in yourself, please. Trust in yourself. Always bet on yourself. Believe in yourself. Anyways, so lag equals where most people fail. Okay, let me break this a little bit farther. So again, it's like, hey, Caden, I'm doing the work, man. I got the new beliefs about myself. I'm changing my identity. I'm changing the way I show up and take action. I'm developing some really good habits, but there's no results. And it's because the results are loading. Okay, it's loading right now. So again, let's say this is your eye right here. Okay, and you have changed beliefs and identity. So that's going to change how you start to see the world. But the world's results is a reflection of your old identity, right? The world. So let's say you had an identity as someone who is unhealthy, overweight, or belief systems that tie into whatever it may be that causes you to gain that weight. Let's say that is who you thought you are. As soon as you change your belief systems and identity around it, it's not like the fat's going to melt off tomorrow night. It will eventually. But what you got to do is you got to be a little bit delusional. So let's say you are, I'm just going to use the example of weight loss, even though we're talking about success and stuff, but hear me out. So let's say you are overweight. You got to be a little delusional. You got to walk around and say, I'm a fit and healthy person. I'm a fit and healthy person. I am getting in such good shape. I am so strong. I'm so fit. I feel so confident. I feel so good in my skin. You need to be the person you want to be now. You can't wait to feel the confidence, the strength, and be the fit person once you're there. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. You need to be it now, and then eventually the results will reflect that. Same thing with money and success, right? You want to be rich, you want to build that business, you want to hit the next level in your business. You need to start thinking, feeling, and being as that person now and not the way that you have been before. Because how you have been before has gotten you to where you are now, but that next level requires a new self concept, a new sense of self, a new identity. So you cannot continue to react to the external world. And this is why you have to be a little bit delusional. Delusional as in, I acknowledge the current world results, but I'm not paying any freaking attention to it because it does not matter. I'm working on something. I'm cooking something up inside right now. I'm focused on something. I'm visualizing it. I'm feeling it. I'm acting upon it. I don't care what the external world shows me right now. That is just a reflection of my old self who is not even me anymore. It does not matter. Conditions don't matter. What matters is my state. And when you do that, oh my goodness, you will no longer feel like you're fighting against the world. You'll feel like you're creating literally with God by your side. So be delusional because the how and the when is not your job to figure out. You can try to control it as much as possible and plan and predict, but the how or when is not your job. Your job is to focus on your state, your attitude, your actions, your focus, the things that you can actually control. And if you can control that, you just have to have a little bit of trust that, again, when I act, it produces a result. So, plain and simple, as long as I continue to act the right way in the direction I want to go, there must be results produced in that direction. Keep it stupid simple because it is. It's super, super simple. The mind likes to make it so complex because, again, the mind doesn't like to change. So, that is your job, though. That is your job. Because again, conditions do not matter. What matters is your state. Life is about 10% of what is happening to you and 90% of how you react to it moving forwards. So here's what I'll leave you off with for today. Reaction equals you give life to the old program, you jump back into the ego, which is the protector of identity. So the fix here is you have your ego, the mask that you wear. Okay? You have the ego, the mask that you wear, the old identity. Now, the ego will try to give meaning to the events happening in your life. It'll try to personalize it. It'll try to define situations in a way that align with who you believed you are. Your job is to not react. Your job is to cut those ties and to not react and sit in observer seat. Take a seat in the back of your mind. Look at everything as if it's neutral before you react to it. Before you make a judgment, before you make an opinion, look at everything as neutral. Because it is. Everything is literally just happening. Your idea of good and bad is coming from a limited view, a belief system. Without your personal perspective and view, everything is then just happening. If it's good or bad is up to what you believe to be true in the grand whole of things. And I can get really deep there. But without that personal view, everything is literally just happening. So view it as it actually is. Ego, when I say that, ego might say, but this is how it is. This person did this to me. This is terrible. No, that's ego screaming. Ego is trying to react to keep identity alive. It's just doing its job. You're the observer. You're the one behind the mask who is observing it all for how it is, who is literally just doing one thing, which is experiencing it all. That's who you actually are. You want to find out how to get into that state? You do a 30-minute meditation in a very calm, cool, collected place with some good beats, and you do that properly for over 30 minutes, and you will hit a complete blissful state where it all is so peaceful. There is no thoughts, and even if there is thoughts, they are not chased, and you feel like you have exited time, and you are a complete wholeness. You are just completely present in the moment, and it is so beautiful. And that will give you a little tease on observer mode, on being the observer of your life, beyond thought. So that is the training for today, guys. If you're looking for help with this, I have something very special coming out here super soon. You got to follow me on Instagram at Caden Hayward. Follow me on Instagram there and you'll be learning more about it. But make sure that you like and subscribe so you can keep up to date. You can keep leveling up. You can keep transforming yourself. Let's keep growing because the world gets better when you get better. It always starts with you. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments what hit home the most, and I will see you guys on the next training. Remember, every single Monday and Thursday, I will be here.